Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome. So today, we're going to talk about a composer who basically looked at the entire rule book of music, studied it until he knew it better than anyone, and then pretty much lit it on fire to write his own. Let's dive into the world of Arnold Schoenberg.
Okay, first, just imagine this for a second. Picture your favorite video game, like Fortnite or Minecraft, but with zero rules or objectives. Or imagine a soccer game with no goals, no out of bounds, nothing. It would just be chaos, right? Rules give things shape. But what happens when those rules start feeling a little too tight, a little too small?
Well, if you want to become a master rule breaker, you have to do something really important first. You have to become a master of the rules themselves. So let's jump back in time to Vienna and meet our main character, a young guy named Arnold Schoenberg.
Now, Schoenberg wasn't some kid who went to a super fancy music conservatory. Nope, he was mostly self-taught, kind of like he was grinding through the early levels of a game all by himself. Eventually, he got a mentor and just buried himself in the classics. We're talking Mozart, Beethoven, Brahms. He basically 100% completed the main quest of traditional music, which is called tonal music. He knew that game inside and out. So what exactly is this tonal music? The best way to think about it is that every song has a home base key. You know that feeling when a song just ends and it feels finished and satisfying? That's because all the notes and chords are designed to lead back to that home base. It's predictable, it's comfortable, like a story where you know the hero is going to make it home in the end.
But this is where our story gets really interesting. After Schoenberg had mastered that game, he started to feel bored, trapped even. He felt all these huge, complicated, messy emotions inside, and he realized the old rules, that old system, just wasn't big enough to express them.
See, at the time, there was this huge movement in art called expressionism, and the whole point was to show the raw, unfiltered feelings inside a person, not just pretty pictures, but the intense, sometimes kind of dark and unsettling stuff that's really going on in our heads. Schoenberg wanted his music to do exactly that.
Think of it like this. Traditional music was like playing a game on story mode. It's guided, you know where you're going, and it feels pretty safe. Schoenberg wanted to flip the switch to hard mode. He wanted music full of surprises, tension, and feelings that were really intense, maybe even a little uncomfortable, because to him, that's what modern life actually felt like. So what was his first major move? What's the biggest rule you can break in music? Well, he decided to get rid of the most important rule of all, that home base key we just talked about. He called this new idea atonality. And if we're sticking with our game analogy, if tonal music is story mode, then atonal music is like a massive open-world sandbox game. All of a sudden, there's no main quest, there's no home base you have to return to. Every single one of the 12 musical notes is now an equal player. Total freedom. And this new sandbox mode music was an absolute game changer. It created this amazing feeling of freedom and constant surprise, but also a ton of tension. For people who were used to that comfy home base sound, it sounded completely alien, and you can probably guess how audiences reacted. They were totally shocked. They had literally never heard anything like it. Okay, but here's the problem with a totally open-world sandbox, right? It can get chaotic. Pure freedom without any kind of guide can just feel random and confusing. Schoenberg realized he didn't just want to smash the old rules. He needed to create a new set of rules for his brand new world. He needed a way to organize all that freedom, to give his atonal music its own kind of logic and structure. He couldn't go back to the old way, so he had to invent something totally new, from the ground up. And this led to his most famous invention, the 12-tone technique. You can think of it like a custom rule set or a game mod he designed to bring order to his new world. Here's how it works, and it's actually pretty brilliant. Step 1. You take all 12 notes of the musical scale and put them in any order you want. This is your special tone row. Step 2, and this is the big rule, you have to play through all 12 of those notes in your row before you're allowed to repeat any of them. You can play the row forwards, backwards, even upside down, but you have to follow that order. That one little rule becomes the DNA for the entire piece of music. It's not chaos anymore. It's a completely new system with its own logic. And this wasn't just some weird little experiment he did on his own. No way. This new system, this whole new way of thinking about music, ended up changing the game for pretty much everyone who came after him. I mean, his whole life was this incredible journey. He starts in Vienna, literally the capital of old-school classical music. Then he shatters its rules, invents a brand new system, and eventually has to flee Europe during World War II, bringing all his revolutionary ideas with him to America. The
The man was an innovator from start to finish.
And his final score? It's massive. He taught other composers who went on to become legends in their own right. The books he wrote on music theory, people still have to read them in music school today. And his ideas popped up everywhere, from the biggest concert halls to, believe it or not, film scores. He proved that the rules in art aren't just there to be followed, they're meant to be challenged. He basically expanded the definition of what music could even be.
This quote right here really gets to the heart of how he thought. He knew his music was challenging. It wasn't the kind of stuff you just put on in the background. It makes you think. It asks questions. He believed that real art wasn't always supposed to be easy or comfortable. Sometimes it's supposed to push you, to make you listen in a totally new way.
So if you take away just one single thing from all this, let it be this. Schoenberg wasn't just breaking rules for fun. He mastered them first. He understood the system so deeply that he knew exactly which parts to change to build something new, powerful, and totally his own.
And that kind of leaves us with a question for you. Think about your own world, the rules you have in school, or in the art you make, or the sports you play. Which of those rules do you know so well that maybe, just maybe, you're ready to challenge them, to rewrite them, and create something completely new?